Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John, back with Nicole Brazier at the North Pole. How are
In
you?
a new location in my living
You-
room.
I know. What's up with the North Pole bed and breakfast sign behind you? What's up with that?
We decorate for the holidays big here in the Brazier house. It's
I
like
love it.
Hobby Lobby exploded in my house, but where we love the gays instead of the opposite.
I say this with so much love. You are the most Christmas decorating Jew I've ever met. It's unreal. I love
It's
it.
totally true. It
It
must be
is.
true. Yeah. I feel so privileged that I get that, like, my son gets to celebrate all the holidays and we get to do both because it is so much fun. Like, growing up with Christmas cheer in your house is so much fun, and I never had it. And so, like, the second I started dating my husband, I was like, "Ooh, it's my excuse to have a Christmas tree." And I've just fully embraced it since then.
I love it. I love everything
Yeah.
about it. For those listening or watching, Nikki and I have been fighting with technology for the
Oh,
last
yeah.
30 minutes, and it's been a great moment for me and a terrible moment for Nikki, who was already stressed out, and I've made her more stressed out. And I've been like kind of living vicariously through it for somehow. It's been fun.
Your attitude has actually been wonderful, thank God, but it's just I don't know what like, my office has a mind of its own. It's above the garage, it's, like, separate from the house, maybe it's haunted, I don't know, but
Maybe.
for some reason, no 2 days in that office are the same. No 2 days of internet connection are the same, no 2 and we have all the things. We have the FiOS, we have the extenders, we have the whatever, and we finally got it to work, and then I lost power, only in the office. So I was like, "You know what? We're doing this
You
from the
know,
North Pole."
well, look, you are in a northeastern, we'll call it farmhouse, we'll call it. So it's possible it's haunted, but it's also possible that you just have this really passive aggressive, just like basic white bitch poltergeist that isn't really gonna
Right.
haunt you, that's just gonna do shitty things to you, make your internet lag. I'll
Yeah,
turn
or
off the
turn
power at
off
the
the
last minute.
heater.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I even turned off the heater because I was like, maybe it's this janky old radiator that's, like, pulling some sort of life force away from my internet connection, but it
I
didn't
love
work,
it so much.
sadly. We're
I
here.
love it. I love everything about it. Everything about it. Well, I'm sorry I'm stressing you out. You know what I was gonna say to you though, at some point you stood up and I saw your baby bump and I got kinda got teary-eyed for a second because I haven't got to see you growing. Like, and
Oh,
it occurred
I'm
to me, yeah, you are growing, and it occurred to me that because we're so far apart in proximity, that I don't get to see you through those stages. Like, I just kinda see you
oh,
from, like, when you tell me you're pregnant to when you actually have the baby, and I miss all that stuff in between. It made me sad just from the
oh,
night.
that's so sweet of you. Well, I can send you some progress pics if you want. They are mighty. This whole second pregnancy thing, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm
how it goes.
just I'm huge. I am like I feel like I'm as big now, and this is probably not totally accurate, but I feel like I'm as big now as, like, almost when I delivered last time. It just
Oh, you're
happened
not.
so fast.
Yeah, you're definitely not, but I understand what you're saying, and it caught me off guard just for a
Mm.
moment,
Oh, yeah,
but
she's a human in there.
oh, you look
Weird.
great. You look great. I'm not
Thank
saying you look
you.
huge. You look great. It was just like I haven't seen you go from the Nikki I saw the last time we were together
Mhm.
to the Nikki who has a baby inside of her,
It's
and
weird,
it's
isn't it?
yeah, well, it's just different.
Yeah,
It's just funny how that happens.
I
So,
know, and it happened so quick the second time around. It's just and every, like, mom of multiples I've spoken to has said this, that, like, it's so different. Your body, like, quote unquote, knows what to do or whatever. But I just remember during my first pregnancy getting to like, the halfway mark and being so annoyed that I like wasn't really showing yet because I was like, I'm friggin' like 20 weeks pregnant. This is dumb. Like, I'm still in my normal clothes and I'm so excited about being pregnant. And I want a little baby bump because it's hard to tell if I'm pregnant or I just like, ate too many tacos. And this time around, I swear I was like 6, 7, 8 weeks pregnant, and I was already like, "Where are my maternity pants? I need them." They don't fit into anything, so it's an adjustment, but that's
well,
okay.
To be fair, I've been eating so much food since the games, I'm also looking for my maternity pants most
Like,
recently.
I'm gonna send you some extra pairs. I have a bunch now.
I think that would be fine. You made me think of Aaliyah Miller when you said tacos. Every time I hear the word taco or Taco Bell now, I send her memes all the time about Taco Bell ever since the episode we did with her.
Mhm.
And she gave us the whole Taco Bell saga. If you guys haven't listened to it, you gotta go back because it's really funny.
Have to
But
listen.
so, yeah, we just communicate through Taco Bell memes now. We literally don't talk, we just send Taco Bell memes back and forth. It's
Is that
great.
its own genre? Are there enough Taco Bell memes?
Yes,
Oh, wow, okay.
absolutely. Look, alright, first of all, there's a genre for everything. When you're
That's true.
when you do memes, as I do, right? When you are a meme lord, Nikki, there
Right.
are genres for everything, and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, seriously, there is a meme for anything you can think of, anything.
Hmm,
It's insane. And when you get into the algorithm on Instagram, if you, like, go down that rabbit hole, then all of a sudden you're getting a ton of them.
right.
So if you start liking them and saving them, which I've learned, don't like and save them unless you wanna see a bunch of them. Oh my god, there's so much of anything out there you wanna see. It's ridiculous.
Wow, I'm so unfamiliar with all things Taco Bell. I didn't
Yeah,
even know.
so many Taco Bell memes. I mean, come on,
Oh,
it's part of the American culture at this point.
yes, of
Taco
course.
Bell is, like, as American as McDonald's to most people. It's
I
just
know,
it's
I can't believe I've never had it still.
You still haven't gone?
No, I just you guys didn't really sell me on it, I'm not gonna lie. You were like, "You have to go, you'll get massive diarrhea, it's gonna be great."
Yeah,
Mm,
that's why you should go. Do
right.
you do you guys not you have 'em in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Okay,
they're everywhere. Yeah.
well, we were talking about I was, at a work dinner tonight before we kinda get into our topics. And I'm with all the people that my direct reports, like all the managers that run branches for me. And we're talking about hiring and recruiting and paying people, all the stuff you had at dinner. And someone's Taco Bell's paying 22 bucks an hour now. 22 bucks an hour to make gorditas.
Dang.
Yes, that's what I said. I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna get a second job making
Uh-huh.
refried beans and rice." That's pretty impressive. 22 bucks an hour to make Taco Bell,
That's
you know?
great because
Yeah.
it's not I don't know, minimum there's a whole other can of worms we could open on how minimum wage hasn't changed in way too long and blah, blah, blah. But it's really nice to see employers paying their employees a wage that they can, like, legitimately live on.
Well, I mean, I'm making some assumptions here, but this is a late night business. I think that's where their bread and butter is, and you're
Mhm.
dealing with a lot of drunk assholes at Taco Bell. I mean, let's be honest, like, you go into Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, sitting in that drive-through, sitting in your car, and there's a Mercedes behind you and a Hyundai in front of you and a bicycle in front of that and some guy on foot behind the Mercedes. That's what it looks
Mm,
like. Like, it's
mhm.
insane. Taco Bell's crazy.
Is it a
And
24-hour establishment?
well, it used to be, at least here in Cleveland, at least it was super late night when everybody else would be closed, Taco Bell would be open at 2 in the morning. And so that's
Mm.
when you go. Like, you go late, you're leaving the club, you're starving, need something to eat. You're like, "What's gonna make me sleep good? Hey, gorditas, let's go." That's how it works.
I've literally never had that thought, but I'm learning so much. Also, did you like how I referred to it as an establishment?
It is. It's a total
Really classing it
establishment.
up here. I mean, it's paying its people 22 bucks an hour, so
22
hey.
bucks an hour to work at Taco Bell. This is the best they non-sponsored, non-sponsored.
Really should be sponsored though at
It
this
should
point.
be. I want you to reach out to them through your marketing agency, though. It'd be
I'll be
excellent.
like, "Hey, I've never tried you, but I hear great
But
things.
I hear great things about the gorditas and the 22 bucks an hour. Let's chat about advertising on kettlebells and cocktails.
Would you like some memes? I hear there's a whole genre for your
Yes.
people."
Yeah, we got you covered on those too. We could do
Yeah,
memes as well.
this is amazing. This is a great marketing call we're having. I'm so
I know.
glad.
So ridiculous.
Please, no more marketing for me. I'm filled to the brim with work stuff. This is just like the craziest time period. Like, I know everyone is sort of like in a crunch until the holidays hit, but man, Q4 when you work in marketing is just like a mad rush from Black Friday, which really starts on November 1st,
Right.
all the way through to Christmas or maybe even a couple days before Christmas because all of the, like, shipping cutoffs are really nearing, which, by the way, if you haven't finished your Christmas shopping, dear listeners, check the places that you wanna order from because I guarantee you their shipping cutoffs are, like, now.
Right.
Because the just all the delivery services around this time of year get insane. So things that normally would take 2, 3, 4 days to deliver are taking, like, 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's I'm buried in craziness. But then we'll get a little bit of a break between Christmas and the New Year, so that'll be really nice. I'm really
Thank
looking
God.
forward to that. Yeah.
I'm ready, man. I was just telling somebody
Mhm.
today, 2043 is gonna be my year. I just I can I cannot wait. It's been a rough year, man. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, from work, from life, from everything.
All of it. Work, life, more life than work, but work adds up. Just everything. I'm just mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm just drained. I need a
Yeah.
break.
You've been really candid lately too, especially on your Instagram about just dealing with some emotional struggles and how you've been pushing through the day to day. How's that been going?
About like I've described, I guess.
You're looking terrible, Nikki. Why would you?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for dredging that up.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's funny. I woke up this morning. I didn't get to tell you this. I told somebody else, but I didn't get to tell you this. Sometimes it's rare. It's really rare. But sometimes I wake up with a moment of clarity that is so clear
Mm.
and I can this is going to sound dumb, but I can just see the future.
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do. I know what the result's gonna be. I know which direction to go, exactly what I wanna do, what I want it to look like, what impact I wanna make, what people I wanna reach, like all of that at once. And I woke up that way this morning, and it was all about the podcast, by the way, which is one I should
Oh,
have told you, but I didn't tell you. And I'm not
okay.
gonna talk about it on the show because 'cause I'm not gonna spoil it. But
Okay.
the last time I had this clarity of vision was about a year into the meme page. About a
Wow.
year in when I said, "Alright, I know where this thing's gonna go," and that's when it took off. And I'm not, like, predicting a takeoff for the podcast, so this isn't, like, me calling my shot. I'm just saying I had complete clarity of vision of what we need to be doing and where we need to be going and who we need to be talking to and what we should be covering, and I'm really excited about it, where it
Hell
is.
yeah. That's great. Well, first of all, I can't wait to hear. But second of all, that that must feel refreshing during a time period where you feel otherwise pretty bogged down, like mentally, physically. Like that's kind of a nice little respite to just
Yeah,
see.
yeah, maybe that's the right way to put it. I mean, it feels hopeful. Like I do think everyone should try to have an impact in other people's lives in some capacity. Like everything you do has an impact in other people's lives. Everything doesn't matter what you're doing, you're impacting someone else's lives. But what we're doing here is it's really kind of hard to describe, but you're talking to people that aren't in front of you. So
Mhm.
you're often grasping at straws or throwing darts at a dartboard. You don't even know what target you're trying to hit. You're just talking and hoping people connect to it.
Mhm.
And this was different than that. This was like, I know where I want to connect. I know who I want to talk to. I know what I want to say. I know who we should be saying it to. I know what kind of impact it should be like. And I know what success looks like.
Hmm.
And when you can connect all of those things, it's a moment where it's like the sun shining and you feel really you ever have that moment where you go outside and the sun shining and you're really happy and you got all that vitamin D and you're like, oh, well, you live in the Northeast, so probably not. But
Yeah,
you
3
know,
months a year. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a really hopeful moment. And that's what it was like. It was cool.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So
I
we'll
can't
see.
wait
I
to
might
hear.
yeah, keep in mind, I might be totally full of shit, so that's possible too.
That might not
But,
matter though. What might matter most is that feeling that is kind of like fleeting and really special when it happens.
yeah, I think being authentic matters,
Yeah.
and for me, that's what it is. I know what I wanna do, whether people connect with it or not is almost irrelevant to some degree. You want people to connect to it because it's important. You wanna reach people, help people, and if you're talking to no one, what's the point? but I I do think it's important to be authentic in what you're doing, and I think that's where it was coming from. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I fully agree with that because it's you either are even if people are listening or you're getting attention or whatever, if you're not being true to yourself or you're not proud of your work, then there's no point.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point. So,
Wow. Okay. So stay tuned, everybody. Big things
yeah,
happening.
we'll see. Well, maybe. Again, I don't think this is like a hard right turn for the podcast. I just think it's at least what I was thinking of this morning is a better conversation. I'll leave it at
Cool.
that. How about that?
I love it. I'm here for it.
All right. Well, let's talk about CrossFit. That's what we're here for, right?
Okay.
Talk about the
Bring it
community.
on.
I
Yes.
know. Well, uh, we're gonna act like we didn't have some of this conversation last night. We've been at like all these internet problems started last night, which is why we're doing some of this again. So some of this we're rehashing, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about. And to be honest, it's probably a good thing that we had internet problems last night because it made me start to think today about things. I was like, oh, I wish I had talked about that, or I wish I had.
Mhm.
You know how it is, like when you talk about a topic and you wish you had covered it differently. So it made
100%.
me, yeah, it made me
Yeah.
think about it differently.
That's
But
cool.
I do wanna start with semis because I thought some of that was really cool. I'm gonna pull up some stuff on the screen so those watching on YouTube can see, but if you're listening, just hang on. I talk about the 3 weeks of semis that they finally released, which I thought was really cool, and a lot of really amazing places that they're gonna go this year. French
Mhm.
Throwdown, Far East Throwdown in week 1. We're not going to either one. Too
No,
far
sir.
for me. Yeah, I don't do South Korea. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure
I
it's
hear good
awesome.
things, actually.
Yeah. I would actually, to be honest, I would love to go to the French Throwdown.
Yeah.
I would love that so much, but can't do it this year. So we'll
Bummer.
see.
All right.
But
All
yeah,
right.
so week 1, May 17th to 19th, French Throwdown, Far East Throwdown. Really cool though that they're outsourcing this. I
Mhm.
don't know, is that the right word? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I think that's
Kinda?
fair, or partnering with I just feel like this
Right.
is sort of like the very in between that now we're finding between, like, the sanctional season where events had their absolute run of the show and could
Right.
kinda do whatever they wanted, but there were just, like, these million paths to games, and last year's semifinals or, like, harkening back to regionals where CrossFit had all the control, this is sort of, like, falling in the middle somewhere where CrossFit is now pulled in these partner events. These partner events get to do a lot of things on their own, kind of taking advantage of their experience, of their unique location, of the things that they're capable of, but also with a little bit more oversight from CrossFit HQ so that there's a little bit more consistency across the board with all the events. So it's a cool in between and I'm happy to see it because I really want to test it out. And also I'm happy to see it because the events that they've partnered with are like very well run, well tested events. And so these are people with a lot of experience who know what they're doing, who we know can put on a great competition. Be great.
I meant to ask you last night as I was looking at this, just for
Mhm.
your opinion. I think a change they made this year, uh, that has gotten some people's attention. In years past, some of the regions have not had as many qualifying spots as maybe the US has had because we have more affiliates in the US than anywhere else in the world, right? And so the US has predominantly gotten more qualifying spots because of that. And now some of these, like the French Throwdown is a good example, 5 men and women, minimum qualifying spots, 8 teams can qualify from French Throwdown. Any opinion on what that looks like for the games itself?
It's just I don't have enough of a great understanding of how those qualification processes change season over season. There's always reasoning behind them. I know that CrossFit's not randomly, well, to this year we'll take 12 people or
Right.
18 people or whatever. So I always sort of read the reasoning and the rankings and the numbers that they come out with, and I'm like, "Mm, yeah, okay, sure, that makes sense this year." But I don't really have enough of an understanding of how it's happened year over year over year to say one way or another if I think it's good this year or better last year or whatever. If you look at Oceania in week 2, this image that you have up right now, top 3 men and women, just anecdotally from me, that seems like a really short list because we know we have so many powerhouse athletes coming out of Oceania, Oceania,
I
Oceania.
don't ask me, man, you're the pro. I'm just
Torian
I'm
Pro,
just
Tor
yeah,
Australia. We're
Torian
just
pro.
saying
Down
tons of
under.
epic athletes from down under.
Right.
And 3 seems like a short list, but if they're basing that off of the number of athletes, the number of power rankings or the qualifying rankings, then I can understand where they're coming from. So, it's kinda tough to say.
I liked it this year that there seemed to be more coming from areas we're not used to coming from. I think the best will still qualify and will still go. So I do think you'll have some of those, I'll just call them kind of middle tier athletes that get left behind. So as an
Yeah.
example, if North America had instead of gotten 10 athletes had gotten 15, those 5 that won't qualify, if we're being honest, probably didn't have a great chance at winning the games. Maybe.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of debate there, but I guess my point is whoever is gonna win is still gonna qualify. It wouldn't
I
matter if there were
agree.
1,000 people qualifying or 40. I just think
I
you'll get a lot I think it's cool that you're gonna get a lot of new names, I guess is kind of the point.
Yes, I do agree. I will say that I have heard the arguments from people who are much smarter than me, who can crunch better numbers than I can, that there have always been some cases, like season over season, where someone barely qualified or qualified this year, but wouldn't have qualified last year for whatever reason, and like maybe makes it into the top 10 or something
Right.
along those lines. Like we do have those standout stories on a yearly basis. But I'm with you in that I'm not sure how much that would affect our podium, our true fittest men, women, and teams on earth. And so I'm really I'm really okay with however they sort of landed on those qualification numbers this year.
Yeah, the debate is always the games, I think, has the correct approach was they're trying to find the fittest on earth. The talking heads in the sport, which I guess you could throw us into that, but I don't feel like I am because I honestly I don't look at these numbers very closely. The argument is, well, you want this to be a professional sport, so you want the athletes to be able to earn their living through the sport, so you need people to be able to qualify to do that and get sponsors, right? And you want the best to be able to get sponsors so they can grow their brand. I side with the games on this. I want the best to win.
Mhm.
It's really that simple for me.
Right.
I don't care where they come from. In this case,
Yeah.
week 2, Oceania, Torian Pro, and I should have said this top, Carson, California, coming back, West Coast Classic, which is
How fun.
very cool. I've never been, so I'm
You've
stoked.
never been to Carson.
Never, but nope, I wasn't that wasn't my thing. When Carson when the games were at Carson, I was at CrossFit Distinction as a 43-year-old CrossFitter or what however old I was, like, watching Annie and Rich on TV like everybody else, you know?
Carson was so special. It was so different. If you've been to the games in Madison, it was just a 180 type of an experience, but it just there's so much nostalgia there. Like, it is really fun to think about opening up that stadium again for CrossFit. Super fun.
Yeah. I wanna go. I told myself I'm not going to semis. I, wrote it in stone. I'm not going to semis, and they're like, "Carson, California." I'm like, "Damn it. I might have to go to semis now." We'll
Uh-huh,
see. We'll
uh-huh.
see. And then week 3 back to Knoxville, which is a cool little city, and Rio
Yep.
de Janeiro, and then somewhere in South Africa. So,
Yes.
I can't pronounce it. So I'm not no offense, South Africa, I just can't pronounce your city. So, Renegade Games, I can pronounce that.
There you
So
go.
it's yeah,
Yeah,
look at me.
and I'm excited to see Syndicate Crown back on the list for Knoxville because man, Wilson and his team, they just run some of the all-time best competitions that I have ever been to. Logistically, their attention to detail is insane, and they run on time, which is it sounds so simple, and yet so many CrossFit events just cannot manage to do it. Local comps all the way up to the big show. So I'm really happy that he's back in charge of that event because
Yep.
that's a good one. Really solid.
Yeah. I think it's a good season. I mean, props to CrossFit. I think they They picked good locations. This is a smart financial move, partnering with established events, let them run it. It's gonna save them money, help them drive revenue. I'll let everybody else debate how many minimum qualifying spots they should have, but it looks right to me. Just eyeballing it. You're
Sure.
gonna get, what is that? 5 out of I'm looking at the US, obviously, but you've got 5 at Syndicate Crown. You've got 5 in North America West, which is West Coast Classic, and then you got another 5 at the French Throwdown. Torian Pro's got 3. Like, you're gonna get some pretty great athletes out of all these events
Mhm,
for
and
sure.
honestly, also some upsets, which
Yeah.
makes for a really interesting season, in my opinion. I like the dogfight to try and get those qualifying spots.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch that are interesting to me when you look at the number of people that can qualify. Like, I was eyeballing South America, for instance, you get the top 2 men and women, and I think last year everybody was like, "Okay, well, Guy is a slam dunk to win that," and then he didn't.
Mhm.
And and so that's the ramifications of only having 2 people qualifying out of South America, and that's where you're gonna compete. You really have to be the fittest, and so it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting to me to see how is that gonna shake out, and he's super fit and an amazing dude, so best of luck to him, but we'll see. So
Mhm.
it should add for pretty interesting competition this year,
For
I think.
sure.
So we'll see. Good stuff. Let's talk about CrossFit Affiliate Town Hall. How about
Ah,
that?
yes. You went to this.
Oh, I was on this. I have so many thoughts. So many. I said this last night. I'm gonna say it again. I love Nicole Carroll. I
She's
just
so wonderful.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love her. So the speakers at the town hall, for those that aren't watching the screen, I won't make it sound like I'm just a creep on Nicole. So they had this town hall. It was Don Fall, Jay DeCoons, who's the head of the affiliates, Dave Castro, and Nicole Carroll all presented. And they were all great. Nicole is so much fun to watch. I swear to God, if she could have just come on and said, "Hey, pay $10,000 and you'll get the CrossFit brand," and I would have been like, "Okay, Nicole. Here's my money. You're awesome. I love
take
you."
my money. Can I have a hug? Yeah.
Yeah, she just she's the heart of CrossFit.
Yeah,
I don't
for
even know
sure.
why, other than she's just some people just exude happiness, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and she's so genuine in kind of, like, what she says and what she does. She really walks the walk and talks the talk of all things CrossFit and has since the very, very beginning, and I think we just really appreciate someone who's stuck with the community through everything and has always sort of she always works her hardest to do the best for us that she can, and I feel like you can feel that, and that really means something. But back up 1 second. This affiliate town hall was kind of in direct response to the affiliates' fee being raised, right? That's kind of why the whole thing came out?
That's exactly why it came out.
Yeah.
They ran 2, so they had one, if I'm remembering the dates right, it was like Friday and a Monday. Yeah, Friday the it's on the screen, so maybe
It's
I
on the
should read
screen.
it. Yeah, yeah, there you go. I'm old. Yeah, it
Fine.
was Friday on the 1st and then Monday the 4th, and you had to register for it. And but, the premise was, "Hey, we're gonna tell you why we're raising the fees, and then we're gonna answer your questions." And they send you an email and you give you a little box where you can type in your questions. And I sent in I swear to God, I sent in like half a dozen questions,
Oh, you did.
and mine were really detailed, and they didn't read a damn one of them, like, not even one. It was really a kind of an interesting experience. So the town hall itself, Don came on first and explained why. And if you've ever had a chance to hear Don speak, really smart dude.
Mhm.
This is not me ripping on CrossFit, and I've done that plenty recently. But Don's a really smart guy. And I think he does a really nice job presenting the why to the business. It comes off a little apologetic to me, but
Sorry, I'm so sorry we're having to raise your fees kind of vibe.
I don't think that's the intent, but yes.
Mhm.
Like, I almost want, again, this is just me speaking. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't need to listen to me at all, but not that he does.
Right, I was gonna say, and he doesn't
But,
listen to
yeah,
the show,
I'm
which is
used to
fine.
listening to CEOs speak, like, that's my day job, right? And he feels very compassionate, which I guess I'm not used to in a financial capacity. So I'm not saying that's
Mhm.
any of this is a bad thing. It's just, different for me.
Okay.
So he spent quite a bit of time talking about why, but I never really felt like I got the real answer. Like I know the reason you raise fees is to drive revenue, and so there's a very strong financial reason behind it. And so the only thing I pulled out of his conversation was we're doing it because we broke even last year in revenue and we want to invest in other things. And what I didn't learn is what are those other things? I got like kind of the high level topics, but I didn't get the nitty-gritty details. What is it actually going to get me? You
Mhm.
know? And so that was a little disappointing. But I get it. It's a town hall. You can't provide everything. Then Jay and Dave and Nicole all speak. The interesting part of theirs is all four of them had written or they were reading whatever they wanted to talk about, which again you would expect to happen. Like right?
Yeah, of
Like
course.
it's a town hall. You have a lot of people listening. But it was a weird experience for me for a
Mm,
couple of reasons. Jada Coons, I don't know at all. None of us know. He's new. He's
right,
from
he's
outside of
new.
CrossFit. He was
Yeah.
wearing a really white CrossFit t-shirt. Like it was so white. So white. It was so white it played country music, Nikki. I swear to God.
Brand new.
It was
You got a
so
brand
white.
new one for the
It
event.
was it was so white it's married to his cousin. Like
Oh,
it was like brand new. Like he had just like his first day of CrossFit white. It was like
cool.
shocking.
Alright,
I
alright,
mean, I'm giving that I know I'm making fun, but I'm giving him credit, like, he branded himself. I'm like, "Good for you, bro, like, you're starting,
alright.
you got the gear on.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah,
you."
yeah, yeah.
And then and Dave spoke, and so Dave was the weird one for me because I've always envisioned Dave, I think most people do, but again, I could be wrong, as CrossFit was initially came out as this we're an upstart, right? Like, we're a troublemaker. We're doing what nobody else is doing. You get what I'm saying? You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like Glassman used to get kicked out of gyms when he was
Got it.
originally training people. And I envision Dave in that same vein, which is like he's giving finger to people and I'm going to do things the way I want to do them. And you can't tell me what to do. And then there he is reading a script straight off the corporate playbook. It felt weird,
Mm.
man. It felt really weird to see him hugging the corporate man. That's what it felt like to me.
That's
And
really
again,
interesting.
I'm not picking on him when I say that. I'm just saying that's what it felt like
I
watching it.
just and I wasn't there, and as someone who is not an affiliate owner, I feel like I said this the other day when Joe and I were recording the weekly buzz. I feel like on this topic, I'm really just doing a lot of listening. I can't really form an opinion on all the things that are happening with the affiliates and the fees and these town halls because I just it's not fair. It's not for me to have an opinion on kind
Right.
of. So I'm just kind of trying to understand all the different aspects of what's been happening. And I kind of just feel like almost bad for these 4 folks who had to run this affiliate town hall
Yeah.
because there's not a damn thing that any one of them could have done that would please everyone in this
Oh, of course
scenario.
not. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's just kind of a rough place to be in when you are representing the company as a whole, and so I, like you, would very much expect them to have some sort of pre-written answers to make sure that their words are coming out right. It's also a really stressful situation to be on a call with a bunch of people who are, like, obviously mad at you because they wanna give you all their money,
Right.
and you just wanna make sure that you're saying the right thing and the appropriate thing, and you find the right words, and at the same time, you need to be genuine, and you need to be personable, and you need to so it's just I don't know what any of them could have done or said that would have elicited a conversation from gym owners that would have had them being like, "Yeah, it was great. I got everything I needed." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I do. I think I know what they could have done, but I
What?
like well, I'll get to that. I think in like regards to Dave did a great job by the way, and I'm not picking on him. I didn't dislike what he said. It just felt weird for someone I've always viewed as a renegade to be giving corporate speak. And so there's
Mm,
part of me that makes me feel really good about the company. Like you get Dave to fall in line. Maybe they're making really great decisions because I don't think he's a stooge.
no.
Like I don't think he's someone that can be bought and sold. So if he's going, "Hey, I agree with this," it's probably a really good idea.
Mhm.
It just came off weird. That's kind of my point. I
Interesting.
for me, I wish they had just done 2 things. I wish they'd just gotten on and said, "We're doing this for the health of the business. We need your help." It's as simple as that. We're not making the money we need to make. We wanna grow this thing to make all of your lives better. Let us give you the deep financial issues we're dealing with and why we're doing
Mm,
it now, right? Start with that. Like, just give us the straight up, honest, dig into the financials of revenue and expenses. We're talking about affiliate owners. Like, affiliate owners spend all day long when they're not busy training people and helping them, solve chronic disease. They're spending time going, all right, how do I find the cheapest cleaning solutions for my gym? How do I find the cheapest chalk? How do I save money on rent and drive more and find more members to drive revenue? That's what they're solving for, right?
right.
And so I think they would have understood that conversation with the CEO. And then I think the second thing they needed to do, this was like a 45-minute town hall. They should have stayed on as long as everybody wanted to stay on.
Mhm.
If it took 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I don't care if it took all day. You the only thing you should worry about are the people that pay the bills, and the people that pay the bills are not the games. It's not the people buying Noble shirts and shoes, and it's the people that turn the lights on every morning at 5 a.m. and are training people.
Mhm.
And you don't cut that town hall off in 45 minutes. You stay on and answer every question that comes into the Q&A until everybody's satisfied, or at a minimum, until everyone's heard what your plan is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make honestly, that makes sense to me because there's definitely, like, an element of client service almost. There's a
Yep.
sentiment that you wanna create when you're in that type of a position that they're in, which is really even just the gesture of, like you said, taking the extra time, making sure everyone feels heard, staying on, for as long as it takes to really get to everybody. That's the kinda thing that maybe is a waste of time, truly, like, logistically, but makes people feel the right types of things about the brand and the direction that it's going in, and so that I think that's a really good constructive piece of feedback. Um, I would agree with that.
Well, they're not gonna listen to this, so I don't know how
No,
constructive it
that's also
is,
true,
but
but I hear what you're saying.
they might. You never know. You never know who's gonna hear it, but it was just interesting. I appreciate the fact that they wanted to do it, and I do think kudos to Don and his team, Dave, Jay, and Nicole, for wanting to get out front and talk to people. So this isn't me
Agree.
saying, "Hey, you guys are assholes because you didn't do it the way Wooly wanted you to do it." It's just as someone who's paying those bills, it felt short. It's the best way I can put it. Just felt short to me. Like I didn't get all the information I wanted, and I learned more from interviews that came afterwards on other shows. Like Sean and Tommy had him on the very next day and asked him more questions, and he got really specific around what kind of revenue they wanted to drive. And the banker in me, he's like, "All right, that makes sense. I
Mhm.
understand what they're doing now because now I've got the numbers and I get
Right.
it." And I think I would have just liked that in a town hall format of just a more direct, "Hey, listen, guys, we want a 20% profit margin. That's the number, by the way. It's 20%. I can live with that. I understand what that
Yeah.
looks like. I understand as someone who pays a mortgage on this house, if if I wanted to save 20% of my income, I know what that number is. I think everyone understands that. And
Yeah.
it would have been really easy just to do that right up front and let everybody get on board or decide to not get on board, you know?
Yeah. Well, and to your point, like, certainly affiliate owners are the types of people who can crunch those numbers and develop a really good understanding of what that means for a business, so I hear
Yeah,
where you're coming from.
it's a wild time. And then if you want to top all that off, Nikki, now
Yeah.
we have a coup d'etat.
Okay, I saw this, and I don't really know what it means.
A coup d'etat. Yeah, so there's
No,
this,
no, I know what a coup d'etat is. I
I know.
mean that this particular host, I don't fully understand.
Well, so there's this group that has shown up on Instagram, and I've been doing some research today on this, by the way, like trying to get
Mhm.
more details and more details. But there's this group, this is CrossFit Affiliate Collective
Okay.
that has started doing posts, and they're sharing all these posts of Glassman talking and some other people. And basically, for those that aren't watching this on YouTube, it says, calling all affiliates, past and present. The time has come to organize, to collectively protect the community we love and the methodology. There's a group of us wanting to make this happen. If you want to learn more, send us a DM, right? And follow us to learn more. It's got a real like union vibe to it.
Totally.
Very weird to me. And friends of mine that have DM this group, they're telling them pay month to month, which is basically code for if you're paying month to month, you can leave at any time. Because
Hmm.
that's how it works, right? Like, if you pay, well, like we don't have an annual contract per se. Like we can if you're paying month to month, you haven't paid up front. So say the affiliate fee is $4,500, and if you're on the previous, it's 3 grand. So if you've already paid, you're out that money. You've given it to them. But if you're paying month to
Mhm.
month, you're not out.
Right.
You can leave kind of at any time. And and what's crazy about that is unless you paid up front, you can bolt. There's no penalty to leave. This again, this is to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I messaged a couple of kind of OG affiliate owners just to confirm I was right. And they say the same thing, no penalties. You're paying month to month, you're ready to go, you can go, you just have to quit using the trademark. And
That
so it
kinda makes
feels a
sense.
little, yeah, it makes sense, but it feels a little bit like this group is wanting to obviously poach a pretty significant number of CrossFit affiliates for whatever reason. I don't know what that is other than they feel as if the methodology is changing and they want to stick to what we've been doing for the last couple of decades.
Do you think they are trying to start their own thing
I don't know.
as a competitor to CrossFit?
I don't know. I don't have those details. It's just it was just really interesting to me, which is why I wanted to bring it up of a real risk to the business. Like
Hmm.
I don't care what they want to do, if I'm being honest. I'm not leaving, whatever that's worth. So whoever's running this group, don't message me and try to get Chagrin Falls CrossFit to join because we ain't joining. However, I was thinking about as the banker me was like thinking about it this morning and like running the numbers in my head and going, all right, well, what happens if they get 3 or 4,000 affiliates to go over and let's call it Greg Fit
Sure,
or whatever. I'm not saying Greg's behind this. I'm not even insinuating that. I'm just using that as a joke. But
sure.
let's just say they go, all right, we want to go do this. That's a significant issue for CrossFit considering they have no way to protect against it if none of these affiliates are under contract. And that's wild to me that we don't have that level of protection for the brand.
Well, so the only argument I would make is that we probably have a level of protection on the methodology. So no one I don't think they could just go and start CrossFit exactly the way that we are and call it.
What do we do that's unique and different that
Oh,
you couldn't unaffiliate? Like, Greg didn't invent thrusters. He didn't
true.
invent
No, you're
pull-ups
right.
or
You're
muscle-ups or,
right.
like, anything, like, all you have to do is change the name.
Mhm.
I'll give you
No,
here's what stuck out to me as a banker,
you
and I
are
know a lot
right.
of people very few people listening to this are in banking, but I'll give you an example. When we license bankers, there's firms out there that do this. You license bankers, let's say you go get your Series 7, which is to do investments. It costs the firm we'll just call it 2,500 bucks to license you. It might be a little more, but let me just use that number as an example. We tell those same bankers, "Hey, we're going to pay for that for you. You don't have to come out of pocket for that. But if you quit within 24 months, we're going to do what's called a clawback or charge you $10,000. Do you
Mm.
agree? Do you agree?" And of course, the bankers are going to say yes. They sign the contract and they go, "Sure, I'll do that because I get the license for free. I can use your brand to sell investments. So I get the power of your brand, right? And I can earn a really good living doing that. And they make a lot of money doing it. But I promise you, if they leave within 24 months, they get a bill for $10,000 and you're
I
kidding
believe it.
yourself. Yeah. And lawyers go after that money
Yeah, of
and
course they do.
and they get it. Right.
Yep.
So it's insane to me, insane that there's no process of clawback toward affiliates. Think about this for a second. This was the wild thing to me. I don't know, my brain works weird, but think about it. You could go start an affiliate, brand new, use the CrossFit name. 3 years. Do it for 3 years. Build your affiliate to 150 members. Now you're making 100,000 a year for yourself. Unaffiliate, keep your 150 members, and you're not out a penny, nothing, other than you lose the internet search. That's it.
Right. Right, which could very much hamper your continued growth.
It could. It absolutely could.
Mhm.
But,
I
I mean, it's a huge risk to CrossFit is the point,
I
and in
know.
situations like this where you've got a significant portion of the affiliate owners going, "Oh, wait a minute. My my fees just went up 1,500 bucks, and, oh, wait a minute. I'm in the worst financial environment that we've been in since 2008. And wait a minute, I don't have a lot of people walking in the door. What do you give it? What have you changed to charge me an additional $1,500?" And the communication at CrossFit's a little screwy, which I think we'd all agree it is. It's a dangerous situation to be in when you have nobody under contract.
I know, and I hear all of that, and it makes perfect sense from a CrossFit business model standpoint, but I don't like locking people into an affiliate if they no longer want to be. Like, part of the beauty and part of what is the foundation of the brand and the methodology is the point of doing this is making this type of training super accessible or as accessible as
Sure.
possible.
Yeah.
And I just think you're and it's really easy to open a gym. We've talked about this, probably too easy, right? Well, now all you owners have to have L2s, but for a long time, it was just like go get the level 1, buy your $1,000 t-shirt and your 3 days of training and or 2 days of training and you too can open a CrossFit gym, but that was part of the beauty of it, and I don't like the idea of locking people in. It's like a gym membership. Have you ever tried to get a
Right.
global gym membership and then you try to cancel it and they're like, "Well, first we need
Right.
75 days notice and then we need your left kidney and then we need $300 because blah blah blah." And it's, "No, bitch, I just don't wanna come to this gym anymore."
Right.
And I just like I think it would be really against the brand values to try to force people to stay or go after them for some money or threaten them to go after them for some money. If they don't want to be a part of this anymore, they don't have to. And to your point, John, like it's a shitty economy. Maybe a gym can't afford that that rate increase. And so what are we going to say? Well, you have to because you're in it, because you're under contract. So you either have to pay it and come up with the money or you could leave, but then we're going to come after you for money. It's I would just let if they don't want to be a part of us anymore, then okay, goodbye.
Well, what it solves is what you said up front, though. That's the point, where you're saying, well, they can't leave because they're still doing our methodology, and the point is we didn't invent thrusters, so we can't really there's no litigation for thrusters. There is litigation if we have you under contract and you decide to unaffiliate and you continue to run your gym. You follow me? So my point is there's no penalty if currently, if you leave and continue to operate a gym as you were operating it the day before.
Right, you just
There's
take your sign down.
yeah, there's no penalty for that, none.
But I
Now,
think
if you're
Mhm.
leaving and going out of business, that's a completely different argument. And I agree with you, like, why should we go after let's not be assholes and, like, chase people down for money that they can't pay anyway because 'cause they're going out of business. I don't wanna be that guy.
Right.
But man, if somebody's leaving and doing the exact same thing they were doing before, doing the exact same methodology, using all of our licenses they were using before, and all they did was change the name, it's just a big risk to the business. That's the point. I'm not saying they need to do this. It's just a
Uh,
very weird thing to me. And it feels like a risk when you have a lot of uncertainty in the business. And now you have this group coming in saying, "Hey, everybody, pay month to month. We want to talk to you about an option." And
yeah,
it
that
can be really scary to the business, is my point.
that last part is scary for sure. I just think that there's enough going on with the brand and enough search happening and enough boots on the ground and people walking into CrossFit gyms every single day because they are CrossFit gyms, that if a gym wanted to unaffiliate and take their flag down and sign down and whatever and still operate as a gym, that business owner has every right to do that and good luck on their future growth. You know
Right.
what I mean? Without that type of a brand behind them.
The question for me of this, and I have enough information, I'm not going to talk about it on the air, but at this point, I know who's running it. And I'll be interested to see how deep it gets ingrained into the community.
Hmm.
Meaning, I I'm gonna compare this a little to social media, and I know it's not the same, but it's really easy to go, "Oh, you have a lot of followers. You can sell a lot of t-shirts." I can tell you through great experience, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, if your product's not good, people aren't gonna buy that shit. I've sold a
Right.
lot of stuff where I'm like, "Holy crap, I have 469,000 followers, and I just sold 12 t-shirts."
Right,
Like,
right.
that's
Yeah.
a very real experience that will happen from time to time if your product is bad, right? So it'll be interesting to see it when as this debate comes up, will people really be interested in going? Or there's a my point is there's a big difference between complaining, which I often do, and
Mhm.
action.
Right.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So
Well,
interesting.
I'm
It'll be interesting to see.
yeah, and I'm curious to see what this whole thing even is. I don't have a lot of clarity on what they're going to be offering or what they're going to be asking for, so
Yeah, I'll go on record. I'm not saying they're insidious for the record. I'm really not. I'm all for affiliates standing up going, hey, we want to protect the methodology because I want to protect the methodology. I believe in constantly varied movement over broad time modal domains and whatever our little quote is we've been using for the last decade.
high intensity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. And I believe in that. And I don't want to see us change the way we do business. If CrossFit came in and said, "Hey, we're doing 5 20-minute workouts every day," I'd be like, "The hell we are. No, we're
I'm
not.
not, sir. I'm
Yeah,
not.
we're constantly varied. That's what we're gonna be." And so I'm all for protecting the methodology and the way we run it and the way we help people because I think CrossFit has really changed a ton of lives, including mine. So I'm happy to have that discussion and be a part of it. I just don't see a reason to leave the brand to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather poke Don in the chest and go, "No, no, no. We're gonna do it here.
Right.
This you bought this brand, you're gonna keep it the way it is, and if we need to make some changes, that's cool,
Mhm.
but we know it works. We got decades of proof." And truthfully, I believe that the people that are running the company, when you really look at it, we've already said them, Nicole, Dave, Austin, that have
Mhm.
been here for decades. They're not gonna let this thing
Yeah.
change to a degree that anybody needs to leave, my opinion, but
Hey,
yeah, it's
let's see
just
what happens.
kinda wild, right? Coup
Yeah.
d'etat. We'll see. That word's a little fancy for me, I shouldn't use it.
I like it. I think it's good. But
We'll
we don't
see.
know if that's exactly what it is, but it definitely has that vibe. So,
It's what it feels like, but
yeah.
again, I could be wrong. Alright, last thing, I showed you this last night, I'm gonna show it again because I love it. My new
Yes.
belt. Look at my new belt.
It's
Isn't it cool?
beautiful. It really is. It
Isn't it
looks
cool?
so this is if you guys aren't watching this on YouTube, you should, but also you've posted about this, right? Or you will post about it shortly?
I put it in my story. It's not for sale yet. It's gonna go on sale in January.
This
It's a
is
new
John's collab with Tupood to make his very own weightlifting belt that is
Yep.
beautiful.
We're still gonna have our kettlebells and cocktails 2 belt for whatever that's worth. It's not going anywhere, but I wanted to do one for the meme page because it's kind of a separate thing, and I wanted to give a throwback to those of us that are vintage, which is the nicest possible way I can say old, and I did like an '80s theme, Saved by the Belt, which is what I'm
Mhm.
going with, which is basically what it looks like, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
Like,
I
it's
also love it. I also love that this particular geometric shapes and the neonish color palette and whatever, it is also very early 90s, so it resonates with me as well. It's like the perfect little crossover for all of us millennials, so you guys definitely should get this belt because
It
it's
was
killer.
millennial after Gen X? Because 'Cause I'm Gen X. Millennial
Mhm.
was next, and then Gen Z.
No,
Right?
I think there's one isn't there one in between?
I thought it was X, then Z, then millennial. Do I have it wrong?
Mm, I think Z is the young bucks.
I don't know. I'm
I
Gen
don't
X.
know.
I don't know.
I'm a dead ringer millennial. Cheugy, hit me.
You are a chuggy millennial. There's
I am super cheugy millennial. I
no
had this
denying it.
debate with Matt though, because he's 6.5 years older than me, and he's right on the cusp of whatever the other one is. I don't know if it's Gen Y or
Uh,
there's something in between our gens.
I know what he is. He's ginger. How about that? Sure.
Ginger.
Ginger.
Hey, that's actually accurate. But he's
Yes.
like, "No, I'm the last year of millennial. We're the same generation." I give him shit for being a cradle robber. He's like, "We're the same gen."
Oh, wait,
I
well,
don't
hold on, wait. He's younger than you?
No, he's 6.5 years older than me.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's younger than you. I'm like, "What the hell? I did not know this."
No, I give him shit for being a cradle robber, and
You're
I told
okay.
yeah, because
You
I
were in
was
the
the
cradle.
baby. I was the yes, I was in the cradle. I was the baby.
Oh,
But he tries to convince me that he is still a millennial, so mm.
I can buy
But then
into it.
he'll say shit, and I'm like, "I don't know, hon, I was too young for that." And he's like, "Ugh, mm."
Wow. 6.5 years, that's a gap. That's a good gap. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's funny because we obviously met as adults, and so it didn't really feel all
Right.
that different, but when I sit back and look at it and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, when you were in college, I was in middle school." It's funny. It's funny now.
How much younger do you want your next husband to be?
Oh, if I could do another 6.5 gap, but I was the older cougar,
Other
that would
way?
be rad. Mhm.
Yes, cougar it up. I love it.
Mhm. Yeah, it'd be funny. No, he's stuck with me now that I'm producing children.
Mm. I can't decide what the right age gap is.
Is there a
Just like
right age gap?
there's a wrong age gap, I can tell
Well,
you
that
that.
ain't that the truth,
There's absolute
100%.
there's absolutely a wrong one. I can tell you.
Mhm.
Here's this is a true story. When I was first newly single again, so this was a long time ago. The girls were
Okay.
5 and 3. They're 22 and 20 now.
Okay, long
That's how
time
long
ago.
ago it was. Yeah, 15 something years ago. I went on a date. So I was in my 30s, so let's be fair. Like, I was still in my late 30s, but
Okay.
I went on a date with someone who was, like, 20 something, late 20s, but still in their 20s. Too
Okay.
young for me at the time. And some song came on. It was Prince, and I'm like, "Oh" no, it didn't come on. I was at an open mic. I was playing guitar, and I played a Prince song.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and she goes, "Oh my god, I love that song. When did you write that?"
Oh,
And it
no.
was
No,
like
no,
a
no,
it
no, no.
wasn't like an obscure song, people. It was like "When Doves Cry," maybe,
Oh
like
my god.
yeah, like one of the most popular songs ever. And I was immediately like, "Oh, you're too young. You're
Yeah,
too
this isn't gonna work.
young.
This
This is
isn't
not
gonna
gonna
work.
work for us. You don't know who Prince is." Oh my god.
Okay, but was she too young or was she just, like, too uneducated in something
Maybe
that's
both.
really important to you, like music?
Maybe both. Maybe
Yeah.
both. But
Yeah.
still, come on. Who hasn't heard "When Doves Cry"? Seriously.
Truly. Is she living under a rock? Where is
Uh,
she now? Let's ask her.
I don't know. It didn't go
It didn't
past that.
work out.
It did not go past that moment, let me tell you that. I was like, "Nope, this is not gonna happen."
That's fair.
Yeah,
That was the right decision. You made the right call.
I think so.
Mm.
Usually, I'm not the one making the call for whatever that's worth, but I did in this case. I absolutely did in this case.
Sorry, sweetheart. This isn't
Yeah,
gonna
well,
work.
yeah.
Ah,
Anyway, so
anyway.
you've learned way more about me tonight than you wanted to. So there you
This
go.
was great. I think this was awesome.
Yeah, this was fun. This went longer than I thought we were going to, especially since we did this last night and
I
now I have to
know.
redo it.
But you know what's funny is given all the issues from last night and even the technical difficulties and issues that we've had tonight, this was a very different show than the
Yes.
one that we recorded last night, even though some of the topics were the same and we wanted to revisit them.
I like the couch you're sitting on, like the different room, and yeah,
Yeah,
the new
it's
flair.
working.
So
Also, look, here's my Christmas tree. One of my Christmas trees
look at
is
that.
over there. Isn't that pretty?
Damn, that's really pretty.
Thank you. I love Christmas.
You're
It's
the
one of
best.
my 1, 2, 3. We have 3, 4, like 3.5 Christmas trees up. Hunter has a cute little 3-foot one that he, like, puts ornaments on, and he, like, knocks it over, and then he puts more
It's
ornaments
impressive,
on.
man. I'm telling you, I've got a lot of Jewish friends, a lot, and you're the only one that decorates for Christmas, so I love it. It's fun.
Well, my son is gonna be have a halvesy, and we've been lighting, Hanukkah candles every night and singing songs. There's one more night of Hanukkah, depending on when this will be released, that'll probably be outdated, but the f I forgot because Hanukkah's kinda lame, right? Like, Hanukkah's really not that big of a deal. Not even that big of a holiday, it just
Right.
feels like a bigger
Yeah,
holiday
yeah.
because it comes around Christmas, so it kinda feels like the Jewy version of Christmas.
right,
but it's, like, not that important of a holiday in comparison, like, if you go to high holidays as a Jew, those are the
right.
other really big
Yeah, those
important
are the
ones.
big ones.
Right, but I kind of forgot how fun Hanukkah is when you're a little kid. It's been so long since I have had that type of experience, and I never had it with, like, my nieces or anything like that, so it's been really fun, and he's been helping me. I'll send you a picture actually after this, John, because it's wicked cute. He's been helping me light the Hanukkah candles every night, and he's really into it, and he yells "Happy Hanukkah," and he sings the
Oh,
songs with me. He has no idea what he's singing, but I'll sing in Hebrew, and he'll just be like, "Yeah," and it's adorable. And when you're a kid, you get presents for 8 nights, and
yeah,
it's
who doesn't love that?
badass. It's so fun, and so I had a really good time, like, picking out 8 little things for him, and I wrap him up in the same little bag every night, and he, like, knows the routine where he lights the candles, and then he turns around and opens his present, and they're just little things. It's never anything, but you know what a sticker book means to a
Right.
two-year-old,
Oh,
it's
I know.
epic, so it has been so fun, and I'm just eternally jealous that he's gonna get to do that in November, December, and then turn right around and have Christmas when he opens more presents, like,
I love it.
lucky kid.
When I worked for a different bank, I covered this region that was up in Lake County, which is north of here, and it's kind of a hillbilly area, and I don't even say that with any respect, it's a total hillbilly
You're
area.
just, like, diving right in.
Yeah,
It's
it's not even there's no due respect, you guys are hillbillies, and it's like a real trailer park kinda neighborhood. Again, offense to those of you that live in trailers, and but we would have Christmas trees and menorahs.
Mhm.
And the reason I say this place was so hillbilly is we'd put the menorahs out, and on the first day of Hanukkah, we'd only screw in the light bulb for the first day, and
Yeah.
these hillbillies would come in and go, "Your light bulbs are out," and they'd start screwing in the rest of them and make them all
Oh,
come on. I'm like, "No, it's
no.
not how Hanukkah
No.
works. Let me explain it to you." You know,
Yeah.
it was not fun. That but,
Not everybody knows how that goes,
yeah, it was
so,
fun. It was
yeah.
fun. I'm gonna catch hate from the hillbilly crowd, but I'm a hillbilly, so I'm allowed to talk. So
They're your people. That's your
those
word.
those are my people. I've been in many a trailer in my life. Many.
My first ever Christmas tree that I had with Matt when we moved in together when we were just babies, which was, like, 10 years ago at this point, um, he put a menorah on the top of the tree instead of a star for me. So we had
Oh,
an
that's cute.
entirely blue and white tree, just like the Israeli flag, and a menorah on the top. So our Christmas trees have evolved as I've embraced Christmas more and more, but they've always spoken to both of our heritages, which is nice.
I like it.
Yeah,
Again, I have a lot of oh, I'm keep moving new stuff on the screen. Most of my I live in a really predominantly Jewish neighborhood.
that's right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so this time of year, there's gigantic menorahs, like, out on
Mhm.
in front of
People's lawns
stores.
and stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
lawns and whatever, and people don't decorate their lawns for Christmas everywhere. So it's kind of a game trying to figure out who's Jewish and who's Christian.
Mhm.
The houses that have lights are Christian, the ones that don't are Jewish. It's it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's really, really interesting, but what I like about this area is no one there's no offense in
Yeah.
any like, people just it's just the holidays. People love it.
Yeah.
If you wanna celebrate, great. If you don't, great. Let's just
Yeah.
all there's no fighting. It's
Yeah.
just a nice time of year, you know?
Yeah. That's how I feel about where we live too, which is really nice. And like I said, I'm just, like, jealous that this kid is gonna get all the experiences, which is so fun. And he's just so stoked on Santa. We're riding the Polar Express on Friday. My god. So
Oh,
excited. Do you have that near you where, like, train depots will do that around the holidays?
probably, but I'm so
Right?
past the Santa era of my kids. Um,
I'm so excited. We did it last year with him, but he, like, didn't understand what was going on, and this year he's been watching the movie and he's obsessed with it. And every time he sees the train, he's, "I wanna ride on it." And I'm like, "We're going." Oh. So
I
that's
missed
gonna be fun.
I missed a lot of that when the girls were little.
Yeah.
This will be a borderline sad, so don't let it make you sad, but when the girls were
Okay.
little, I was divorced. So a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff they did with their mom, and
Right.
I missed it. And I now don't get me wrong, we had some amazing Christmases, and the if there's a benefit to being divorced is you get, like, 4 Christmases, not 2. You
Right.
get you get mom and dad, you get your moms, and then you get your dads, and then you get your mom's grandparents, and then you get your dad's grandparents,
Right.
and my girls had a dad who was overcompensating because he was divorced, so they got a lot of shit from me. And
Mhm.
they had some really great Christmases, but I missed out on some of what you're describing,
Yeah.
which is that stuff, them coming down the stairs Christmas morning.
Right.
Um, to my ex-wife's credit, at some point, she started inviting me over for that, so I would get up early and go over there for Christmas morning, and you still get to see that
Yeah,
with
I
her.
really love your co-parenting stories. I think they're really admirable. What the 2 of
Yeah,
you have been able to do for your kids has been really beautiful.
so I missed some of it, and I regret that, but we had some great Christmases, and we're still going
Yeah,
to. We're gonna have a great one this year too. Kids
that's
get more
true.
they get more expensive as they get older, Nikki.
Ooh,
Way more expensive. It's gonna be an expensive Christmas for me.
man, I'm already scared of what that is going to be like because we've already been like, Matt and I have been really adamant about, like, we're gonna pick, I don't know, 2, 3 big things, and that's it. Because other people are gonna show up with stuff, and I really I don't want my kid tearing through, like, 100 gifts to the point where he doesn't know what comes from where, and he's,
Right.
like, overwhelmed, and he kinda stops giving a shit, and it's like he doesn't really understand the value of those gifts, and so but Christmas is also I'm not gonna be like, "Only 2 gifts for Christmas." Like, it's so
Right.
fun to have a bunch of presents under the tree, so that's why we were like, "We're just gonna pick a couple things, other people will probably bring stuff, like, I know my parents are gonna give stuff." And then he'll have a handful of really awesome gifts, and I think that's gonna be a rule, like, moving forward. But man, it was really hard to narrow it
It's hard.
down.
I
Yep.
mean, you have to ask yourself the question, how do you know they love you if you don't buy them a lot of stuff? That's the
It's a
question to
fair
ask,
question.
Nikki. You know,
It's a
that's the
fair
question.
question. Well, I did get him the lug.
Oh, awesome.
Uh-huh.
You know what we did one year and kinda we probably should getting close to wrapping up here because
Yeah, yeah.
we were, like, both like, "Oh, we're gonna do a 30-minute show," and now we're an hour and 10 minutes in.
W
One thing we did one year, because I found myself year over year, and I still do it now, because I love buying them stuff. I love it,
I know, it's
you
so
know?
fun.
Yeah, it's always fun for them and for me. But one year, what we did, I was like, "All right, instead of me spending a ridiculous amount of money on you guys, how about we adopt a family? And I'll take
Yeah,
you guys shopping, and you guys pick out the presents." And that was the best year ever, arguably.
I love
We
that.
and we went and I it's not crazy expensive, but we definitely spent, quite a bit of time helping this family that needed it, and, you get the names of the kids and their ages,
Mhm.
and the mom and the dad and everyone's in the family, and we bought a lot of gifts and wrapped them, and the girls have never forgotten that, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about it last night of like, "Man, like, I need to start doing that on my own," because
Mhm.
I'm really privileged and blessed to have a great job and make good money, and I have extra money coming in from some of this stuff even, and it's I got everything I need.
Yeah.
There's nothing I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like 3 or 4 more guitars, but
Fair.
I don't need them, you
Yeah.
know? It's maybe it would be better to help someone else more often than we
Mhm.
do, and I just think that's is I don't know. I can't even describe it other than to say that was a great moment for us is to help the girls like really understand how privileged they are in life
Yeah.
and that maybe you got to think of others from time to time. And I need to do it more often.
Yeah, I love that. We at my business for the last we've been around 3 years, so this is our 3rd year in a row sponsoring some angel tree families from the Salvation Army. We've done it every year for Christmas, and this was the first year that we were able to do 3 families because the business had a good year, and one of the families had 5 kids, like 2 kids and 3 foster kids. And so it was it took me a full weekend of going shopping store to store just to make sure that I could get, like, the toys on everyone's lists and full outfits for all of the kids and the parents, and we bought, like, winter coats and boots for everyone too, and it was I think it's my favorite part of the holidays is, like, picking out this stuff for people who You know that they need it, and you know that if they didn't land if that tree didn't land, like, in your inbox, they might not get anything.
Yeah,
So it's really nice to be able to help.
yeah. Well, and I think every little piece helps. Like,
Mhm.
you think about your kid who's getting excited about this sticker book or coloring book or whatever you're giving them for Hanukkah each day, which is for you and I, it's probably just you think, "All right, well, it's just a few bucks, no big deal," you
Right.
know? And for someone who doesn't get things like that very often,
Yeah.
like the specialness of that gift, you never forget it.
Mhm.
Like, you're just creating memories for people, and I don't
It's
know.
really special.
Been weighing on my mind lately for some reason. I just can't seem to get past it.
Hey, it's not
So,
too late. There's always folks in need that you can help out right before the holidays.
I know. Well, if anyone wants to contribute to the Mira and Megan Christmas fund, feel free to send me money because 'cause I'm
Yep.
feeling I'm feeling pretty needy after paying some bills this week,
Yeah, I bet.
for sure. Especially
Mm.
now that Mira signed up for college, it's getting more and more expensive. So now I got 2 in college, and that shit is not getting less expensive at
Well,
all.
that's exciting. Holy
Yeah.
moly. She's gonna
Eh
do some schooling? Good for her.
yeah, she's going to game design. She wants to do video games for a living. I messaged my mom, and I'm like, "And you guys told me that Atari 2600 you bought me when I was 13 was bullshit. So I'm teaching you. My kid's going to school for it now."
That
So,
is badass. She is so cool.
yeah, I'm happy for her to decide what she wants to do. So,
Very
cool
cool.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
not happy for my wallet, but I'm happy for her. So,
Good for the long run, for sure.
it's only money.
Can't take it with you.
Can't take it with you. I'm gonna try. You can't.
It's what I
Uh,
tell myself every Saturday morning when I drive to Target to let it speak to me.
I'm gonna bury myself with that expensive guitar over my shoulder on this side. Then you can take it with you. It's gonna be great.
I'll make notes. You'll be like a pharaoh being buried with his
Mm.
subjects.
I would honestly never let my daughters do that because that guitar's really expensive, and I'd rather they just sell it and take the money.
Huck
So,
it.
yes, absolutely.
Oh,
All right,
this
well,
was fun.
on that sad note, we should
I know,
wrap it up.
right?
All right. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for dealing with all the technology issues tonight. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. Is this my new podcast location? Only time will tell.
I'm for it as long as you keep the North Pole sign up for the entire year.
All year, all
Yeah.
year. Well, as long as no one else I, like, get to open the door to the living room now and be like, "Sorry, you can come in."
Yeah. You can come
All
in,
good.
Matt. All right. Well, tell Matt thank you. I
I
appreciate it.
will.
And I'm sure we'll talk a dozen times. But for everyone
Mhm.
listening, happy holidays and go get your final shopping done.
Yes.
And we will chat with you guys soon.